Hey, Shane.
Hey, how goes it?
And it goes it. Welcome, everybody, to another Sunday edition of Studio 6 Paranormal Podcast and Entertainment. My name is Jay Hill. I'm their host with my wonderful co-host, Shane Feek.
Yo.
And we have another special guest, or a couple of guests, I should say, tonight for the show. Yeah, so how are things with you?
Oh, doing all right. Just living the dream, getting stuff done. I don't know. Haven't even had much time for paranormal things lately, but we will soon. We got some paracons coming up and some investigations here and there, and so.
Yeah, there's one that we're going to be at on April 22nd.
Yes.
In Broadhead, Wisconsin.
Yep.
Spirits in the Spring.
Okay.
The Shadow Hunters. So, yeah, that's going to be a good paracon. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a year since I was at a last one, so It's long overdue. So, without further ado, I will get our guests on. They are Tracy Inman and Tom Skundrich, and they are part of the paranormal team called That Paranormal, as well as Paralinked.com. So let's get them on and see what they got to say. Hey, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So I did say Paralinked.com. Now, for those who don't know, why don't we just kind of get started right into it? I'd like to know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a social media platform, similar to your Facebook, to Twitter, to stuff like that. I co-created it with Sean Miller back in end of December. So it's only been live for about 3 months, a little over 3 months. We have a lot of people on it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's actually a really neat site. Sean is a coder. He's been a coder since he was like 10 years old.
Sure.
I went and saw him. We worked together. I saw him one day at work, and I was like, "Hey, man, is there a LinkedIn or something like that? What if we could create something to bring the paranormal people together?" Because I don't know if you guys noticed, but the last couple of months have been kind of hectic in the paranormal field with a lot of negativity, right?
Yeah.
So at that time I had heard it, ahead of time with people that I know in it. Tom's heard it too. And when I was talking to Sean, I was like, how can we do something? And he's like, well, if you can come up with a name and a website, he said, I might be able to help out. So we talked to a couple names, and I said, what about Paralinked.com? And he said, well, you know what, if that's free, I'll build you that site. We can co-create it. And I'll be a son of a gun if I didn't open it up right then, and it was free and it was dirt cheap. So I bought the site, and then I started the trademark process that night.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's a really cool site. We have about 10 or 11 categories that you guys can go to that people can post their stuff. They can advertise. It's all free. It's for the community. Yeah, it's for the community. We don't charge anybody for nothing, right? We have a lot of people on there from around the globe. We got a lot from the UK, to be honest with you. I was really surprised it took off pretty big over there. But we have a team from Australia. We have other people from Tokyo in that area. We don't ask for personal information. The only way we know where they're from is when they actually have conversations talking about where they're from, or if they advertise where they're from.
Okay.
We don't want to know anybody's personal information. If we can keep from it, we'll never ask their personal information. There is a bio on there if somebody wants to sign up, and they it does help to put what you do and where you're located. Not your exact city though. We don't want that, but there is a search engine on there, so you can look up paranormal investigator in New Haven, Connecticut, right? And it's somebody close to that. If somebody's looking for an investigator, it'll pop up right there. We have some other cool stuff on there. We have what's called a ghost cam. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to check it out. Okay. It's people's attention spans aren't that long anymore, right? That's why TikTok. Seriously, that's why TikTok is so popular. Up to a minute video. And face it, if we're watching Destination Fear or something like that, we're waiting until the end. We want to see what the money shot is, basically, right? Right. So that's unfortunately that's the way the world is. So this ghost cam gives you up to a minute. You can record something on your phone, on your camera, or whatever, and you can upload it there right on the Ghost Cam. It gives you a spot to put a caption. You can caption, hey, we're at blah blah blah. Make sure you have the permission from those people to say it. But we're at Tracy Inman's house. Shout out to that paranormal, and then you upload the video, and it says, hey, we're here at Tracy Inman's house. Shout out to my team. They're doing a great job. We'll be with you soon.
Right.
Or what we've had a lot of people doing lately. What we had a lot of people doing lately is evidence. They're posting 1 minute evidence segments. So if you go in there and you look, there's about 6 or 8 of them here last week. Yeah, they just post a 60-second, 30-second, 20-second evidence clips, which is pretty cool. And there's a lot of stuff on there, right? And I don't want to take the whole show talking about it, but you guys really need to check it out. It's free. Yep. I mean, what do people have to lose just to go check it out? We did it for the paranormal community. It's our site. It's our community site. We want everyone to give ideas. We want everyone to have a say-so in it. So, but yeah, I mean, so talking about the 1 minute camera, I'm going to leave that up to me and Tom for something that you guys might be interested in. A few years back, we were at Ashmore Estates. Actually, it was like our fourth hunt. So if you look on that video, that 1 minute that ghost cam, you can look through the section where it goes to, and we were on the 3rd floor. Have you guys ever hunted Ashmore Estates up by Charleston, Illinois? By any chance?
No.
It's a major destination. Nick Groff, when he does his tours, he goes up there and he hunts there. Daniel Kloss, they hunt there.
Okay. Okay.
So we were up there on our own. Just 4 of us. Is like our 4th hunt ever. We got our Oculus up there. We have EMFs, Oculus up there. Yeah, I always say all that. But we're up there and and we're going Facebook Live, right? And we're asking this tricycle to move. It's on a 3rd floor concrete floor for like an hour, not moving at all, right? Nothing's going on with it. But the lights are flickering. Remember, everything's going crazy. And then it stops for like 10 minutes. So we say, hey, let's go to break. So Tom's daughter at the time is the one that's videoing us with her phone, Facebook Live. And she's got it like this, and she just lowers it. Nobody's looking at it. We walk out. Well, the next day when Tom's editing it, when we didn't see that ghost, or we didn't see that tricycle move, when he was editing it, that sucker rolled backwards. So it's actually on that. Yeah, so that's pretty cool capture.
Right.
Awesome.
And so you have not interrupted, but you have like stuff like that on that website for that. And that people can post that, and people can see it, and it's stuff like that people, if they have an opportunity to do so, so that platform will work for them. You know what I mean? And it sounds like it's a pretty easy thing to do.
Yep.
It's very simple. The guy that, like I said, Sean that built it, he made it very, very friendly, user friendly, and on the homepage there's instructions basically for everything. You just scroll down, it'll tell you all the stuff to do. We have a team of the month on there, and a person, or a team of the month and person of the month, and it goes by algorithms, which everybody hates algorithms, right? But it goes by how many people commented on your post, how many times you posted, any likes on your post. Grizzly Chris won last month. So we haven't done the team of the month yet. That'll be this month. But we just started and we're trying to figure out, and all it is a bragging rights. Hey, I was guy of the month at Fairlink.com. Hey, it's better than nothing, right? We're free, so eventually we do plan on giving out shirts or something like that. But keep in mind we're free, so it's not $100 prize or anything. So
So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about how you guys got started in the paranormal, each individual one, and where you guys, we're looking forward to go from where you're at now.
Okay, about what was it, beginning of 2018. I have been following the paranormal for a while. Me and my daughters, you watch all the shows. You think you're a paranormal investigator. Well,
right.
I had bought a couple of equipments, and we went out a couple of times to see, and I thought, wow, I'm really getting into this. Well, I was thinking, well, I'm going to call Tracy, see if he wants to do this with me. And, when I called him and I said, hey, you want to go hunting? I think he originally thought I was meaning deer hunting or,
I would do that.
And I'm like, what? So he was like, yeah, let's check it out. And I think he, at first didn't really, I don't think he knew much about it. He always knew something.
I was very skeptical.
Yeah, he was my skeptic in all of this. So, so we went to a cemetery one night and just tried it out. To Alton Cemetery, which is very popular. What is the name of it?
Lovejoy Cemetery.
Lovejoy Cemetery in Alton.
And there's a gal there that she was 9. I think was she 9 years old when she passed away?
Yeah, something like.
Her name's Lucy Haskell, and her dad is very prominent. Her family is very prominent in Alton, Illinois area. Yeah, and she happens to be buried at this cemetery. So.
And she died of what was it? She died of.
It's a disease. It was bad. I can't remember.
It was popular, but not popular. But it was a horrible disease that had killed a lot of people back. I can't remember.
There's the pox, wasn't it?
Was it the Spanish flu?
I think you're right.
Mind,
because the name sounds familiar. Yeah. Because I'm right on the border of Illinois, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm in Lake Geneva, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Not too far, so yeah. I think that story has rung my ears before.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So I think it was the Spanish flu. Unless anybody's watching can correct me, but I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Well, we went there to do a hunt. We had just the basic equipment, your EMF. We had the SB7 spirit box.
Those are good.
And
ones.
all night we were trying to. This is the night we learned that you don't turn the camera off until you leave, because we got done. So I thought, and we were packing everything up, and we had a ball at her grave because they said if you bring a piece of candy or a ball, she'll play with it, or So anyway, as we were packing up, I had turned my back, and Tracy started saying, Tom, look. And that ball, there was no wind, nothing, just kind of spun in a circle, rolled over maybe a half a foot, and then rolled back.
Yeah.
And
wow.
And we had already turned the camera off. That's what I said.
That's how it always happens.
I, being the skeptic, I scoured everything, trying to debunk it.
You're a good man.
Yeah. It was. I was like, there's no way that. There's no way that happened, right? And my reputation, as just being a human being, right? I'm thinking, it's on the line. I'm gonna go tell everybody this story, and they're not gonna believe me. So I got to make sure that before I go tell people that story, that it's accurate. And so I'm down there digging around, looking at leaves, looking at all this stuff, making sure there's no way that ball could move. It moved on its own.
That's awesome.
And that pretty much was kind of the beginning of that paranormal. We did something else, and then we kept asking a friend named Heather to find out. She's the H in that.
Okay, I was going to ask you what the acronym stood for.
Well,
so it's Tom, Tracy,
Tom, Heather, Amy, Tracy.
Tracy, Heather, Amy, Tom is what I said.
Yeah, there you go.
The 2 T's. Anyway, so we asked her, she would look up some stuff and give us some past history. And then we had Amy, who's like, what she do?
She helps out whenever we're on the hunt. She'll look up some stuff over there. She'll also answer the questions. We do a lot of Facebook Lives when we do commercial public hunts.
Yeah.
And
then
that's cool.
That's how that paranormal became. And
we all grew up together. We've all known each other.
Right. Right.
And my wife Kelly is she does the camera work for us. She's been on every hunt as well. So.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, my wife goes on most all of mine too.
Yeah, my wife not so much. Which is fine. That's all right. So Tom, tell me how you got started in all this too.
Well, honestly, I've always thought, I don't know. I think I've always been a fan of the paranormal, not really understanding it at the time, just growing up. You think there's always something there, but I'm probably the kid talking to somebody in the kitchen when nobody else is there,
Right.
But
Right.
I don't know. The more I studied and learned about it, the more I was like, you feel like you relate to it.
Right.
Hey, I get this, I'm understanding that. So my thing deep in my heart, I think like any paranormal investigator just wants to communicate with somebody, ask the questions that nobody asked.
Yep.
Right.
But it's so hard because of how much energy they have to build just to communicate.
Right. Oh, right. But
as far as, I don't know, I've always always felt like there was something.
Tracy, you feel the same way?
I always go back to my childhood, right? I grew up in, I don't know if you know, Farmer City up by Clinton, Illinois. Our family lived in a 2-story house, always had stuff breaking downstairs, falling off the countertop stuff.
It was him.
Yeah, it was me. Yeah. I told Mom it's a ghost. But, you're 6, 7 years old, 8 years old. You don't really think about that. You like to joke around with your friends when they spend the night and stuff.
Sure.
But it was right next to a funeral home. And, when we moved out, they ended up tearing that house down, and there was actually a path. So the owner of the funeral home lived there at one time. He had a path built in it wasn't a closet then, I guess, but we found it in the closet when they were tearing it down.
Oh, wow.
There's a path leading into the funeral home underneath there. So that's probably where he walked back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
So all we could consider, all we could think about is him probably was hunting it, but I didn't even, or haunting it, but I didn't even think about that till like 5-6 years ago.
Sure. Right.
Then you go through your life. I remember at my mom and dad's house here in Illinois, Woodard, Illinois. We were I'd wake up every once in a while and I would see it like a white old man shadow figure right straight out my room, because I always had the door open when I was 10, 12, 13 years old, and he'd look at me. Then he'd look the other way and he'd just walk off. And probably 5 or 6 years that I lived there, but he stopped and he'd look at me. He'd make sure that he saw me. And then he'd walk off, but then you fade out of that. You phase out of it. You think about it as a kid, you got other things on your mind, sports, stuff like that. And then I started my life with my family. So I wasn't open to it. I don't think I allowed myself to be open to it with everything that I had going on. Well, then my wife now, we, over the last 4 years, I've experienced, I haven't had it in about a year now, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. But I've experienced an Indian at the end of my bed. In the middle of the night, I'll wake up, I'll be frozen, I'll sit up, and I can't talk, and she has to wake me up. It's almost like a frozen sleep. And I went to a spiritual healer about a year ago, and she was telling me, I didn't tell her anything about an Indian. I was keeping that to myself. Mm-hmm. She brought up the fact that she thought I had an Indian spirit that was with me at the time. And I'm like, that made it real.
Right.
Like, shoot. But to answer your question, long story short, yeah, man, I believe there's stuff out there. I believe there's everything's out there. I got UFOs now. Everybody's talking about UFOs, talking, your cryptids. I mean, sure. I can't believe how many people over the last couple of years we talked to about Bigfoot or the other cryptids. That's just tons of them out there.
Right. Yeah, I personally, cryptids is just another thing. I can kind of take it or leave it. It's interesting. Same with UFOs. Yeah, I'm kind of the theory of, I have the theory of they've been here for eons, so it's nothing new to me. Yeah. But, it's just what it is. But, as far as like spirit communication and stuff like that, like with you guys, with you experiencing that Indian, I wanted to ask you, did she give you any detail or any reason why that this Indian spirit was connected to you, or was it part of the land, or was it where your house was, or?
She had said that she thought it was from one of the homes that I lived in, in central. So I was born in Toledo. So between Toledo, Indianapolis, I moved a lot when I was a kid. My dad was in the railroad stuff. Monee, Illinois. She was thinking the Monee, Illinois might have been where I picked it up.
So it was an attachment then.
Yeah, basically. When you look at that,
do you really think that it was a negative attachment, or just somebody that was attached to you?
Oh, it's somebody that's just attached. She even said it's not. There's not any.
Yeah, because I didn't. When you were talking about that, I didn't see that. It was negative.
It scares the heck out of you at night.
Oh,
yeah. You wake up and see it. You're hoping it's not a negative.
I've had that happen where I've seen a full body apparition when I was 16 and sitting at the foot of my bed and not saying a word, and I was more irritated than anything at it that it woke me up. I mean, I was kind of like, I was being a jerk, but I've seen a couple different things since then, but it's like you said, it's something that's been kind of a part of you. I mean, you've experienced some of this stuff when you were younger, and you kind of just let it go, and You know, you got other things on your mind. I mean, I'm sure I saw things a lot when I was younger that I really probably didn't pay much mind to. But I think that's a lot of it with kids nowadays is the fact that there's so much going on in the world and so much going around them that if there was a spirit, they wouldn't know.
No.
Because it would just be
Right.
They're too busy looking at TikTok.
right, or TikTok or looking on their phone or something like that.
Playing a video game, yeah.
I mean, when we were kids, it was kind of like, you know, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have all that electronic, you know, stuff.
Right.
You know, we had MTV and you know, Dukes of Hazzard and things like that we would watch on TV. You know what I mean? But I mean, it was kind of like, you know, if you were in your room by yourself and there was a spirit there, yeah. I noticed some things, but it never really affected me that way. So let me ask you, when you guys have been on investigations, since you live in Illinois, and I know that Alton, Illinois is a very charged place, and I really want to take a trip down there sometime. Our friends Nat and Elliot from ACG Paranormal, who we had awesome. Since we had on the show like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
She is, even Elliot. I mean, they've got great stories of investigations down there. You know, so try to pinpoint what would be like one of the best places like to explore or to experience the paranormal in, I would say, even in Alton, Illinois, or just Illinois in general.
Well, I tell you, there's some. So Illinois in general, like we always said, the Ashmore States is our biggest one for Illinois for us. We have the McPike Mansion.
Okay.
That's here in Alton, Illinois. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. It's an old 1880s mansion. It was built by Jim McPike, I believe his first name. We've hunted there probably 3 times, so we always get something. They have a huge room in the basement that's made out of brick, and it's kind of circled, and that's where the refrigerator was back in the. Right. You know, that's where they kept it cool. They brought the block ice in and all that.
Ice, yep.
But we always get a lot of good spirit box, and we always get a lot of the EMF. Just you can actually have a conversation with the EMF in the basement there.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, hey, is this you? And then make it go red, it turns red, you know, and
that's cool.
It's not around any electricity. I try to debunk everything that I possibly can.
Yeah, I'd love to get my sensor board down there.
Is that by a body of water, that place?
So a lot of Alton is by the Mississippi River. There's a lot of creeks. Okay.
Yeah, running way a lot of water. I've never been down there, so I just kind of see a lot of water around those locations.
Yeah, Mineral Springs, like Tom just said, is another one that's okay. They have hunts like every weekend. You can arrange for a hunt. They're not that expensive either.
But Mineral Springs used to have a spring going underneath the actual hotel.
It had the pool, so you could swim in the pool, which was a spring. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Wow,
that is cool.
There's a lot of history there at that place. It was a slaughterhouse in the basement one time.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I think it had some prohibition,
food, not people.
Yeah,
that we know of.
Yeah, a prohibition. There's a big prohibition there. It was a hotel at one time. And people still live there. There's like one floor that has like 3 people that live there. If you ever talk to people that used to live there, they got out for the simple reason that they had too much stuff going on that they didn't know what it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you say that Alton is back in the day would have been kind of a hub for prohibition? I mean, a lot of the bootleggers and a lot of it was kind of away from Chicago, and it was kind of like, you know.
Alton was considered to be the capital of Illinois.
Okay.
They were in the running with Springfield. That's how big of a town Alton was.
Okay.
That was between Alton and Springfield to be the capital. Springfield was more centrally located, and that's the reason they went with it. But that was the final 2 in the competition for it.
And they used
there was
slaves where they used to hide the slaves.
Yeah, there's an underground railroad went through Alton.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Oh yeah. There's tons of houses that have that in there. Of course, they filled most of them in by now.
Right.
There's smallpox. There was a huge prison.
Oh yeah,
the Confederate prison is what it's called. Okay. And they all got taken out to an island there on the Mississippi River. That's where they died. It's called Smallpox Island. But there's still a wall there. Yeah.
And I did want to say this: when they tore down that prison, they used a lot of that limestone for foundations and all over. So basically, it carried a lot of spirit attachments.
Right. all that energy.
Like Mineral Springs at the bottom, you can actually see the wall where they built the mall on, or the hotel on. Everything.
Yeah, if you're ever on State Street in Alton, right across from the flour mill, it's on a hill, and all of those buildings in that area were built off of foundations either that were a part of it or still are a part of it. They just tore down the upper part of it. And there's a lot of old, there's one building that has about 7 or 8 apartments in it. We hunted one of those apartments and we got a lot of stuff in it, a lot of activity. So yeah, I mean, Alton is a major hub for paranormal, man. If I was to suggest anywhere, if you're wanting to do more than 1 or 2 spots on a weekend or on a week, I would suggest Alton above anywhere else that I'm aware of in Illinois. So,
right.
We have a lot. We have what's that road we went to? Not Hills Road, but Collinsville's kind of by here. There's a
7 Gates.
7 Gates of Hills, what they call the road, right? But there actually was Satan worship there for years. Wow. Yeah, and you go there and you can hunt it. We hunted it one time. I don't know. We didn't get much activity, but it was scary as could be. Just being
I bet.
Yeah,
that still has to be proven to me.
Right.
It was like our second hunt, and we were out there just as novices, really, for the most part, just kind of checking it out. But it was neat. It was scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
So have you guys been to some of the other hubs of paranormal, like say Gettysburg? Or
no, that's on my bucket list.
That's on my bucket list too. Yeah,
I gotta get with Tara, and she's gonna hook me up.
Yeah,
we haven't traveled much further than Ashmore Estates as a full team. My wife and I went last year. We just decided to go on a weekend to Iowa, right? So we went to Field of Dreams. Okay. So as we're driving up there a couple days before, I found Edinburgh Manor. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. That's about 35 minutes to the west of the Field of Dreams, and that's the scariest place I've ever been.
Really?
Oh my God!
So what happens there?
So it's an old poorhouse.
Okay.
In the middle of nowhere.
Is that Edinburgh?
Edinburgh. Yeah, Edinburgh. Okay. It's spelled Edinburgh, right?
Right, Edinburgh. Yep.
Yeah, it was. We went there with Cat Armstrong, William Armstrong, their group. Man, it was. There's an old poorhouse back at the county poorhouse back in the day, and there's a cemetery right across the street from it that nobody realizes is there because all the tombstones are gone and all that. But there's like hundreds of people buried. The original building was actually tore down like 10 years after the first one was built in like 1855. So the existing one has been there for well over 150 years, and it just closed like 10 years ago. Because the only reason it closed is because it didn't have an elevator. And to be up to code, you have to have an elevator now in a 2-story building for patients. And so all the paint's peeling off the walls because of the weather there and all that stuff. So it was creepy as could be right with that. But we go down into the boiler room. You go down into the main basement kitchen. I love my God, it's scary. So my wife, who's gone to every hunt with me that ever since we've been together, as soon as it got dark, she wouldn't go back in there. That's how scared she was.
Wow.
But I want to put my sense of board in there too.
But I sat down there with Kat and them, and I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom and walk upstairs. They said, no, let us walk with you. Stuff like that. And if their goal was to scare me, it kind of worked. I mean, it was, but I stayed till 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, and they got a lot of stuff. They did that. I'd never done the technique before, but I want to do it. I haven't done it. What the heck's the name of that technique that you blindfold yourself?
The Estes method.
Yeah, the Estes technique, right? Yeah. They were doing that, and it was weird because I'd never seen it done before.
Yeah.
And that made it even creepier. We had we had the lasers out, laser screen out, and we did see a shadow come across it. Mm-hmm. But that was neat. So I have we took our cat balls to that. My wife and I did. We didn't want to pack the truck or the car with all of our stuff because we were antiquing was our goal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I had a small box, had
too.
EMFs and cat balls in it. And I'm telling you what, in the one room that we set in the cat balls before dark, we set it on the floor. And after about 10 minutes of asking it to move or to light up, those cat balls lit up and they moved.
Oh,
I got it on video.
Jay's had that.
I've had that.
Yeah, it's neat, ain't it? I'm like,
It
I
is.
can't believe that just happened.
Yeah, it is
had a
because
show.
of the fact that I used to do my show live in a haunted location, a haunted hotel in Lake
Mhm.
Geneva, and so I used to sometimes I would set my cat toys back behind me so that if they would move, I would catch it on camera. And then we were talking with another guest once, and I had him back there, and we were saying, I was saying, so what's your favorite place to investigate? Da 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 da. And he started talking. He said, "Well, my ultimate favorite place is the Lizzie Borden house." And as soon as he said Lizzie Borden, those things lit up like Christmas trees.
That's
And-
cool.
And as soon as he was done talking about it, they stopped. And so when he would mention that again, they would light up. So yeah, it was the benefits of being in a haunted location, doing a live show. That was fun.
Yeah.
That
So
is
I
cool.
know what those cat toys can do.
Yeah.
Super sensitive, but
Well, we had him
it's
go up at
kind
the
of like
Hinsdale
yeah,
house.
it's kind of like you take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Well, my whole thing is, yeah, I mean, they could, is it possible they could light up on their own? Yeah, it's highly possible. Is it
Right,
something that maybe the battery doesn't die? They want to go ahead and light it one time, whatever. But when they move,
That's
That's
a little
something
bit
different.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a different story, right?
Right.
It is.
Right.
So it's hard to debunk that.
Now,
Right,
how far are you guys from Chicago?
Me,
I am
about 2.5 hours.
2.5 for him and an hour and 10 minutes from me.
Okay, because I know in Illinois, Ellie, they have the old Joliet prison, and
Yes,
it's
yes.
big time haunted. Have you been there?
No, I've been
Yeah.
invited there, but
Yeah.
I never have.
I'd go there if you guys are going and you let me know. I'll show up.
He's got some
Yeah.
devices that he created that would be able to. He's all about zeros and ones.
I'm all about science and math and
Yeah.
electronics.
So,
So
you make equipment, Shane?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Oh, awesome.
But I make equipment that nobody else makes.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
actually I have a sensor board that has 26 different sensors that get logged every second
Oh, that's
into
cool.
a file. So you can have, temperature, humidity, barometric pressure, radiation, magnetic fields, all these things. And it logs them with date timestamps and it syncs them to video. So if you see something strange in the video, you can go back and look at all the sensors and say, okay, did anything else see that? And then vice versa. You'll go look in some computer graphs and some stuff like that, do some statistics on it, and you'd be like, hey, wait a minute. There's an anomaly right there in the data. What was happening in the room at the same time? That kind of stuff. So, and because it's all data logged and all automated and all driven, a lot of times you can come in, set it up, make sure
And
it's
walk
recording.
away.
And then go out to the bar and hang out and chill. Come back later and check your stuff and see if you got anything. It's
Right.
kind of like putting out a live trap.
Right.
Yeah, you and my co-creator of Paralink.com would get along great because he makes stuff on his own too. So, I had to make up I bought an old like 1940s radio, had tubes in it and stuff. Still,
Yep.
So, and you probably know how to do this. You make a Bluetooth out of it and have graphics on it, so it lights up just like an Apple box to an extent, right? To a Geo box, almost like a Geo box to an extent.
Okay.
So I had to make that up for me, which was cool. But Tom and I, we ate dinner with him one night because we were trying to get him to make something cool for us, right?
Yeah.
And he said,
that works. I mean,
yeah. So we bought him a cheeseburger. Well, him and his son, I think his son's he got a full ride to Missouri, but he actually had a good scholarship to MIT. So him and his son, he's 18 years old. The guy I'm talking about, Sean's 52, I think. They for years built stuff. They built a motor for his wife's bike to make it a motorized bike, but it had to stop on a dime because she has something that she can't ride a bike. She never been able to ride a bike.
Yeah.
And it stops on a dime. You know, it's him and his son, and they ended up winning this contest for engineering.
That's cool.
And he's always been building stuff, and that's why this Paralinks. He just got done building a guitar for Stranger Things, based off of Stranger Things. And don't ask me, I don't know much about it, but you guys need to hook up, Shane. But what he made for us that we asked him that night was we wanted a camera, and we just wanted a camera, something that could IR. We're not, we're not into the technology.
I'm super tech.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't have sent me this link, we probably would have been still looking for you guys right now.
It's all right.
You know, I'm more of a PR guy. Like for the paralink.com, I'm out there trying to get people to come to it, you know, advertise.
Right.
I know enough to get me hurt if I were to get into the webpage.
See, I'm a computer guy, so that's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So
if I ever
him,
have anything like that, then I just have to ask Shane.
Yeah.
What does this do? What does that do? Can you make this?
Yeah. Tom and I, we asked Sean, you know. So we asked him to make a camera, and he didn't just make a camera, you know, like we wanted something that you could walk around with like everybody else has. That's what we were thinking, right? Mm-hmm. So he makes a camera out of scratch with a 3D machine, a 3D printer.
Yep.
He puts a small computer inside of it.
Yep.
It goes straight to YouTube if you want to press it and you know, choreograph it with your page. It goes straight to YouTube. But it also has an anomaly collector on it, right? So just like you were saying, he had kind of this, not as much stuff as you have, but he had it recognizes a face. If it sees a face, it circles it. So the next day when you're editing it, it'll count at 1, 2, 3, 4. Next day you're editing it, you just go through and you can go straight to it, and it'll have it and it'll be circled. So what we've caught with it is orbs. It'll catch the face of an orb. Now they're few and far between, but we've caught that. He's put an EMF on it as well, right?
Sure.
You know, it's the energy magnetic, and he put an obulus on it as well to spit out the words with the antennas. You know, he looked into how the obulus was built and all that stuff. So it's a pretty cool machine. Everybody that
all in one.
Yeah. So
Shane knows what you're talking about.
I do.
If you go to the paralink.com and even if you don't sign in, just right on the front page, hit the little video, you'll see a picture of the camera on it. You also see the.
I'll be checking that out when this is over.
Yeah. You also be checking. Yeah. So you and Sean get along well. So that camera 2 months ago, we're doing that paranormal is doing a private hunt. We do some private hunts, but we did go live with that one. Yeah. Sometimes they don't want us to go live, so we don't. Sure. So it doesn't look like we do as many as we do. But it caught an orb, and before, you know, it's an old mansion. It's not a huge mansion, but it was a mansion back in the day in Alton, Illinois, right? It is private owners, and they had an old 1880s shifter robe in there. So we go in there. We're trying to debunk stuff before it even happens. Right? Is the door going to open? You know, how hard is that door going to open? Because they're saying the door's open. They're saying that they see shadows. So we walk over there, physically pull that door open. You have to really pull that door open. But what we noticed, we set that camera in there. It's infrared.
Okay.
And it was in there for about 2 hours by itself. And when we finished up the next morning, I was editing and just kind of looking, and you see this orb from the corner kind of dancing around, and then it just goes right over to that door, and as soon as it lands on it, that door just creaks open.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's I'd like to see that footage.
Yeah, that's on paralink.com and the off-topic thing. Now, being a computer guy, I want to know your feedback on that on paralink.com if you don't mind. I've always asked from people, very few get back with you on it. Mm-hmm. But you know, I want to know if it's how user friendly it is. That's my goal, right?
Mm-hmm. The page,
right.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great catch with that paranormal. You know, we have fun too when we're out there hunting. So
yeah, we do.
So, what are you guys working on now? What are you guys working on that, like investigation wise?
Wow.
So Heather is trying to put together a private house for us to do again.
I'm trying to get these fools to go out of town.
Yeah. So the Bell Mansion is in Fort Wayne, Indiana, right?
I've been there.
It's still about
a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, for us, it's about a 6-hour drive, 5.5 hour drive.
Yeah, it was about 2 for me.
But Ricky Hilliard's a friend of ours.
Okay.
And he's always asking us to come up there. So we're definitely going to make it up there sometime. Waverly Hills is Ernie Pack and his wife buying that, or not buying it, but getting more involved with Waverly Hills.
Sure.
We're definitely been talking to him about trying to get in there.
Have you guys done that place? Waverly Hills?
I went to a Paracon at the Bell Mansion, but I haven't.
No, I haven't been there either.
What about
awesome.
Waverly?
It's a nice building.
What about Waverly Hills? You guys ever done that?
Never been there.
Yeah. That's on our bucket list right there.
That's on
my top. Now, have you guys been to the Sheboygan Asylum up north here?
No.
Okay. Now that's basically similar to Waverly, and yeah, that's something that I've been invited to go to a couple different times, but to be honest, I just don't see to pay, whatever $100 it is to investigate for 4 hours and
agreed
a group of people that are just 10 plus people, and
I won't do big groups.
You can't get, in my opinion, you can't get any evidence or anything because you've got so much contamination. I mean, if you're doing it with a small group, that's one thing, but
right, exactly.
Now, if you guys think about it, pre-COVID, before COVID hit, we were able to go around here to public places, and it was about $40 a person. We don't charge to hunt. We don't charge anybody to come with us.
Yeah,
right? The only thing we charge is if it's $400 for 10 people. Us 4 and my wife, 5 of us, we're paying our due out of it, and then they're paying what it's all even amongst all 10 people, right? So
$40
we don't
paying for that. Yeah.
But ever since COVID hit, it seems like all the places have just almost doubled.
Yeah.
So we're paying $600 or $700 for a place we were paying $400 pre-COVID, and now we have to charge people $50 or $60 to come with us. I don't think it's fair to charge those people that amount of money to come with us. No. That's not saying we'd never do it, and I don't mean it that way either. But it'll have to be a really good place for us to go to get.
Yeah. See, for me, normally, I tag a lot. My wife, husband, we have a husband and wife group. Ghostly science, paranormal. But we tag along with a lot of other groups going in places. But it's like, all right, well, if you guys want to see equipment and things that you've never seen before and see new techniques and stuff, get us in there,
Yeah.
And so far, I don't think we've maybe only paid maybe once and only just a little bit, and most of the time it's like, well, if you're lost if you don't want it, we're out.
Right.
I'd be more apt to pay $50 or $60 a person to go with somebody like you guys or another team that's into it. I think the trying to get people to come with us and have them pay $70, $90, which I see some teams doing, having the public, and hey, great for them. Nothing wrong with it.
Right.
Paying $90 to go hunt with them. If you're the person that wants to go hunt with them, that's awesome. But if I'm going to pay that amount of money, I'm going to be hunting with someone. I'm not going to be hunting for someone.
Of course. I agree 100%. Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with the big groups, like you're saying. You get somebody there that just wants to goof off, and then
Yeah. See, I don't. The big groups. The other thing is if there's entities in that building and you got 10 people just blasting the place and walking around, dude, you aren't going to find nothing. Then the other thing is when you have sensitive, real lab equipment like I use, those people moving around and doing stuff show up in the data all over the place. And it's like, well, that just wasted that.
Right.
Which is why a lot of times I'll be like, all right, if it's a 3-story building, I'm going to set my equipment up on the, on the 3rd floor. Nobody go up there.
Yeah.
Or I'll set it up in the basement.
Right.
Don't go in the basement, at least while it's recording, because otherwise the contamination's so bad. I spend more time getting rid of debunking the contamination than I do finding the ghosts,
Right.
No, I agree.
That's
and of course,
for you.
I use math and statistics and computers to do most of the investigations, data analysis. And so, there's not really any subjectivity to it. It's, did the computer see numbers that mean stuff or not?
Right.
You can't have tons of people just going all over the place because the data is just terrible. It's like, all right, why waste my time?
Yeah, and even on the spiritual side of that,
that's the other,
yeah, on the spiritual side of that, when you've got people's intentions who go to these big events and they want to just be drunk or do whatever.
That's
all that energy and all those frequencies just mesh with just negative. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
I mean, it's and it's just, it causes chaos. and I'm not saying that it's, all these places that do that are bad, or,
No.
if that's what you want to do, then by all means do it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
just, for my own personal opinion and the way I feel about it is I just could not see, doing an investigation with a large group of people in a really super big location and having everybody with, different intentions and different
Yeah.
emotions and different, it's just, for
Yeah.
me, being who I am, being a medium, I couldn't even handle half of that.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean? I'd
figure
have
2 to 4 is about
yeah.
the right number.
Yeah.
2 for
Well, I agree.
safety and no
Right.
more than 4 because
And not to take anything away from the Sheboygan Asylum, because they're great. I know the investigators there and everything. I just don't think that I couldn't do that physically. You know what I mean? I just,
Well,
it's
you did
too much.
Tom did the Missouri State Penitentiary.
That'd be
and
cool.
You told me how many people were in that group.
Oh, I guess I can say the name of them.
Oh, you don't know, whatever.
Ghost Hunt USA was one of the first hunts I went on, and it was a $200 ticket.
Oof.
I was like, I'll go. I want to see this. And they had like 300 people.
That's
Holy
way
shit.
too much.
When I asked the organizer, I said, why do you have all these? Well, some couldn't make it last night, so we just let them in tonight. And I was like, and you could hear the people yelling in the background, like woogie boogie boogie, and it's like, come on, man.
Oh yeah. See, that's why I don't do that.
Yes, and I was pretty upset because I was like, this is
I would be too.
Missouri State Penitentiary,
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I think that you would probably have a better turnout if you've got a location like that, like Shane said, if you've got tickets for 4 people.
Yeah,
and there's going to be there's going to probably be a waiting list, but at least you're going to get maybe quality or some positive or something different than you get so many people packed in. It's like
because most places are small enough that if you've got 2 teams of 2 and you switch out, you're more than enough to cover the whole place. I mean, unless the thing is like, like when I went to the Friar School, okay, that's a 4-story school. You could have more than 4 people. But in a typical house or a mansion or whatever, even 4 people can make plenty of noise, cause plenty of trouble. Just the human body moving through the room shows up in all the sensors. So
right.
I think it would be better if they would have these locations, these bigger locations, even if they have, like Shane was talking, the smaller ones and like 4 people. You want to, if that's what your goal is, to make the money, then by all means keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to actually try to, supply, information or evidence for paranormal, positively, you know what I mean? Then I would say that, like Shane said, 4 people is probably the great amount to do an investigation, even for a bigger place, and then it's going to it's going to make people want to come there. You know what I mean? They're going to you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they'll get me to come back. You got something. Hey, let's go back there.
Because I've even done automated investigations. Because like a lot of times I'll actually set up a laptop that will play a pre-canned EVP session. Okay, and it'll play it at random times throughout the night. So you'll have a Bluetooth speaker in the room. You'll have the sensor board. You'll have some video cameras, maybe the laser grid, whatever you got going. And it will literally wake up in the night, run a 10-minute EVP session, and then go back to sleep. And it'll just keep doing this at random hours of the night. And then you come in the morning and you have video synced to these sessions, also synced with the data. And so literally you can go through and look at the graphs, look at the video, whatever, and you don't even have to be in the building at all, which means no human contamination, no noise and movement. It's just totally silent. And and we still get stuff, and when you get stuff when there's nobody there and it's on an automated investigation, that's pretty good evidence.
Absolutely.
I can't say it proves anything, but it's good evidence. And if somebody comes to me and says, hey, what did you get at such and such place? I have every single data and video and audio from every place I've ever done. So I can say, all right, well, here's the data, here's the audio, here's the video. You guys make your own, things. And, And we do find weird stuff, stuff that is as much science and math and whatever I put to this, we still find stuff I don't have no idea what it is. It's like, that's just weird.
I believe that, man.
And sometimes I'll debunk it later. I'll go over it with a bunch of my PhD level friends and we'll all talk about it and we'll do some more math and we'll do some more stuff. And they'll be like, well, no, but this anomaly, notice how that repeats. So it's probably a man-made thing. Okay, fine, move on. But then there's other times they're all like, I don't know, it's weird. And we got, but you have actual things to show people, not just,
right.
Oh exactly. Yeah, something weird happened to me. And, here's my anecdote.
Right. I think that's a lot of it is people, they want to have the holy grail of proof. They want to be able to.
And I'm not saying I have that.
No, but I mean,
I have
the stuff. The stuff that you have, I mean, is more valuable documented information.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where a lot of people, don't know the science side of it. And that's why we do this show is because there's a lot of people out there that don't understand that the science behind it is where it's at right now. I think that a lot of people could really learn a lot from that. So, so let me ask you guys both. Let me ask you both. Is there something that you guys had recently did that was really at all like scary or something that you guys really kind of took you back? I mean, was there something that you thought, hey, this was something huge?
I have a good one for you.
Okay.
So, we've hunted Ashmore Estates a couple of times, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
So the second time we were up there with we paid for a tour ticket with Nick Groff. I'd never hunted with him. Always wondered, always seems like a decent guy. So and he really was a super nice guy when we met him. So my wife, Tom, and myself were up there, and that camera that Sean made is works great in the dark. So up on the third floor, I took it, set it in a room. The only thing in the room light wise was an old street light, like way away from it. So there's just barely enough light coming through that room with the door open into the hallway. Mm-hmm. So Nick and Tom and my wife, they're all doing a geo box session, a spirit box session on a bed in another room. I thought, well, I'm going to walk over there and grab this camera. Right. So I grabbed that camera and I'm walking across the hall and I caught something out of the corner of my eye to my left. Right. And I was like, felt something in my neck. Kind of pop, almost felt like it's in my shoulder blade more as a pinched nerve. I've had pinched nerves before, so I'm thinking it's a pinched nerve. So all night long, just a little bit, a little achy, I go over to a corner, and I'm rubbing my rubbing it against the wall, all that stuff, trying to calm it down because I have had pinched nerves before, maybe twice in my life.
Sure.
And the next day we get home, I wake up and I'm in more pain, right? And so that's on a Sunday. So then Monday, I call off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because I'm sleeping on the couch, but I'm sleeping sitting straight up like this on the couch with my feet up on the table, the coffee table, because I could not lay anywhere and I was getting 1 hour of sleep a night. So I go to my doctor. They gave me some muscle relaxers. It helped a little bit, right? And, I kept telling my wife, Kel, I'm like, man, I said, I've had that since I saw something out of the corner of my eye. Even when we were there, I told Nick Groff, saw something out of the corner of my eye, a shadow, whatever. And, so for 4 months, I'm going to the chiropractor, right? My doctor's feeding me pills. They put me on pain medicine, but I don't do pain medicine. I just, I do ibuprofen. That's it. And they finally send me to physical therapy. So I'm going to that, and they're messing around with my neck. They're doing all this. The chiropractor's popping my neck, stuff like that. And the physical therapy people say he needs to get an MRI. I don't know why they didn't do it right off the bat. I'd been begging them for it. The insurance didn't want to pay it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I go at like 5:00 at night, right after I got off work one night, and I'm in pain, man. It just hurt. It was a bummer. And the very next morning, my doctor calls and says, you need to get over here. We need to do surgery on you. You're missing a disc. So, coincidence, you know what I mean? Is it stuff I've done? I played soccer a lot up till I was like 50 years old, 45, 48 years old, whatever. Right. I've taken some balls off the head, right? Soccer balls off the head, stuff like that. No, I can't. But it was very, very painful to say the least, right? And that as soon as I got that surgery, they put a little metal thing in my neck, and it fixed it 100%. But coincidence, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, man, I saw
the entity actually attacked you then.
I don't know if it attacked me. I think maybe
we were trying to figure out.
Maybe it just
because I'm just trying to figure out the association between, you know, the entity you saw it, and then all of a sudden you got this pain. Did it come over and grab you? Did it?
That's the question for you guys, right? I mean, I jerked a little bit, you know, when I did it. Did it go right through me and possibly destroy what was left? You know, on accident,
some kind of sensors and some checks, I wouldn't know, but yeah, it's strange.
That is actually strange. But even that, I mean, you really don't know. What people don't realize in a lot of the spiritual world is there's things that we don't see that can affect anybody, you know. And so the question is, was it or wasn't it? If you don't know, I mean, people can dismiss it, and I'm not going to say that I dismiss it. I'm just going to say it's an interesting story, and hey, you know what? That would be crazy if something like that actually happened to me. You know,
do I believe that that's what did it? You know, being like you would being a scientist and stuff like that. Most likely, it's just something the way I jerked at that point in time, and something to do with my disc just finally coming loose.
Didn't you go to somebody and she?
Well, that's when I did the spiritual healing. Right after that happens, when I went and did the spiritual healing, and she was telling me about the Indian.
Did it make a difference? Did it change things?
No.
No,
it was the worst pain in my life, man. I wouldn't. My whole left arm was going numb. My fingers are going numb.
Oof, yeah.
On my elbow, it was a horrible pain. Yep. But you know, it's such a coincidence that it had to happen at that time, right? So, what about you, Tom?
No, that's what I was. I don't think anything. I mean, I guess I have yet to have that. Wow, you know, every time I go somewhere, you always want to catch something, see something. We've seen little things,
right?
But it's like you always want to see, like he said, you know, maybe not standing at the foot of my bed with a tomahawk. But,
you need a good succubus for that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, you might as well do it good, you know.
Wait a minute, maybe not that. But you know, go somewhere and see these shadows or be able to communicate.
Right.
With, you know, but anything that scared me, pretty much no.
Right.
Like he was talking about that one that scared him and Kelly, that Edinburgh or whatever.
Yeah, Edinburgh.
And I want to go so bad.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't get scared. I'm just like, well, you know, they say, well, yeah, the demon just came up in a floor in the basement. It's like, all right, I'm going to the basement, taking my sensor.
Right. You know what I mean.
And my wife and I, we're going to London in August.
Ooh.
And we're gonna hit the tower, you know, Tower of London. We're gonna go there. But the one thing I want to do is the catacombs. We're going over to Paris for one day.
I want to do that so bad.
We're hitting the catacombs where we're gonna somehow. It ain't gonna be live, obviously, but we're gonna get a video down there, and we're gonna take an EMF or whatever we can, a little spirit box, and see what we can do there. So
right.
You need to get somebody to sneak you in.
Yeah. All right, so we're about out of time. So I want you to, if you could, kind of let everybody know where they could find you and kind of shout out and, you know, about your website. That paranormal crew on Facebook. We haven't got the YouTube channel up yet, but we're working on it. That paranormal crew. Join there. Send me a private message, whatever you want to do. Okay.
You can get a hold of me at info@paralink.com.
Okay.
Also,
I'm going to join there too. So
no, we appreciate it. Like I said, it's free, and feedback from everyone is appreciated.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're not going to steal your idea, right? We want to know. We have a lot of ideas ourselves, and if somebody has an idea that we're already thinking of, and we think we have good feedback from other people wanting us to do it, we'll go ahead and do it. You know.
Yeah.
And if you do present one that. Yeah, if you guys do present an idea, or somebody does listening presents an idea, and it's not something we thought of before, you know, we're definitely going to be in contact with you. And get
you're going to see things that you've never seen before. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
Dude, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. But yeah, info at paralink.com. You can get me on my Facebook page, Tracy Inman. Same thing with Tom. You get Tom on Tom Skundrich, just a friend request or send a message. On paralink.com on the homepage down at the bottom. After you create an account, you can just type in on the homepage. There's a comment section that people throw messages, shout outs on. You can add us there. Also, Tom and I, I'm not sure if Tom's made it through yet, but I am a part of the Warren Legacy Foundation. I've been accepted with them as an investigator, and Tom is, I believe, did you get?
Not yet.
He's in the interviewing
the
process,
interview.
so that will be
Okay.
really cool. So that'll drive us more into the investigator side of things. So that I'll leave it at that. So
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Awesome. All
Very
right.
nice.
Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It's been a great show. You can find all this information on our YouTube channel as well. We also will have this uploaded on every podcast platform known to man. Probably tonight. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods. Good Pods is where it's at for me because I love that app. The creator of that app is super nice, and yeah, so go check it out. I'll have that uploaded tonight, and I want to thank everybody again, and thank our guests, and thank my co-hosts. You guys have been great. So we will talk to you guys another time. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Yeah, we'll have you
That's
guys on
great.
again. That'd be great.
yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a
Talk
good
to you
night.
soon.
Stay weird.